When I Fall by Scarlet Emerald 32. Chapter 50. Talisa groaned, rubbing her face across her hands.
Oh my god, I can't go over this again. He was defending me and Lydia. He didn't attack anyone unprovoked.
But he did attack someone. I'm not downplaying what happened to the two of you. It was wrong. But he escalated it when he killed someone, and you can't deny that.
No, I can't. But I truly believe it was an accident. 6 years ago, the council trusted me to start working with him, to see if it was possible for him to change. Well, I'm looking at you right now, Aaron, and I'm telling you, he's changed. I'm not saying he's fully reformed, but he did what he did tonight for the right reason.
Even if that's true, a man like that,
He pointed vaguely in the direction of the townhouses.
who's done the things he's done, killed the people he's killed, something inside him is broken.
Maybe it is. But that wasn't a justification for killing him over the past 6 years. If we're going off just this incident, you aren't killing him for his past crimes. It's an unjustified witch hunt.
I agree. Killing him now, over this, it undermines the civilization we've built.
And what about the people who never got to witness that civilization because of him?
What the hell are you even talking about?
Sadiq smacked the table angrily.
Okay, let's take a break.
Gabriel said quickly, but Talisa put a hand on his arm.
No, Gabe, let him finish.
She nodded to Sadiq, who returned the gesture in thanks, before taking a deep breath and speaking more calmly.
Look at what's happening at Hilltop. We're taking our eyes off the ball.
He's right.
Daryl was in the doorway, leaning against the frame. Gabriel looked up at him and then sighed heavily, pressing his palms to his eyes.
The council wasn't made for this. Deciding a man's life in the dead of night because people are carrying pitchforks and torches.
Daryl crossed his arms and kicked at a loose floorboard.
Look, you can't make a decision. The people out there are gonna make it for you.
What did Michonne say?
She wants me to be her vote. Talisa and Lydia say that Negan saved them. So he saved them. I vote no.
So we're tied. Gabriel, where do you stand?
Gabriel didn't look at him. He was quiet for a long time, and then he slowly stood and looked around at them all.
I'm going to take the night to clear my head and consider my opponent. I suggest you all do the same.
He turned and walked back out of the side door, leaving them all sitting in silence.
Well, you heard the man. Let's all go sleep on it.
Talisa walked out of the meeting hall next to Daryl, who was still looking pointedly at his feet and not speaking.
How is she?
She's a little banged up, but she's gonna be okay. She's more worried about Negan than anything.
I'm worried about him too. He did the right thing, for once. And there's a good chance that's what's gonna get him killed. What does that say about us?
I don't know. But for what it's worth, I agree with you.
Thanks. It's worth a lot.
Daryl finally met her eye with a half smile, and she returned it.
Hey, Tal.
Sadiq was standing on the porch of the infirmary.
What's up?
Laura asked me to tell you that Eugene's on the radio for you.
Gotcha. I'll head over there now.
Talisa shot one more look back at Daryl.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Not much we can do till morning anyway, right?
Right.
She headed towards the large house on the corner that they used as their communications hub, and walked through the front door to find Laura at the desk with her feet up reading an old magazine.
He's ready when you are.
She slid her feet off the desk and walked towards the stairs to the second floor, where her apartment was.
Have a good night.
Talisa sat down at the desk and clicked the radio on.
This is Possum to Taterbug. Taterbug, come in. Over.
Taterbug here. Everything all right there, darling? Michonne said you all got yourself into a mess of trouble.
Oh, it's a mess, all right. But we're handling it. Not sure handling it is going to go down the way it should, though.
Is it true you were attacked by members of the former Highwaymen Party?
Attacked is a strong description as far as I'm concerned. They were attacking Lydia and I intervened, though Margot in particular made it clear she had no issues with adding me to her list of victims.
You are already aware of my opinions as far as Margot is concerned, so I will refrain from uttering the unseemly idioms that spring to mind on this occasion. But suffice to say, she'd best be prepared to make herself scarce upon my return.
Look at you getting all protective.
It is not only my duty, but I would argue my biological imperative to protect and defend both my mate and my progeny, and I take said responsibility very seriously. I hate the fact that I am currently unable to do so in any way that would be effectual.
It's okay, Haircut. We're fine. Everyone here has our backs, and like I said, it really wasn't even that big of a deal.
Speaking of having your back, was Michonne correct in her conveyance that it was Negan who came to your aid?
Yeah, it was. He stopped Margot from kicking the crap out of me, but in the process she hit her head and was killed. Now everyone's on a witch hunt for him again.
That's unfortunate to be sure, though I freely admit that for the first time in almost 7 years, I'm truly glad Negan was present and grateful to him.
Yeah, me too. So how are things there? You getting the wall up?
Not yet. We're still in the process of removing the tree. I have been overseeing said removal in the hopes that we can salvage the materials to aid in the rebuild.
Any sign that it was something other than a run-of-the-mill act of nature?
Unfortunately, yes. The tree in question was relatively young and healthy. There's nothing to suggest that it would fall on its own without intervention.
So she's definitely toying with all of us then.
It would appear that way.
Talisa sighed heavily.
Then you better be extra careful out there, Haircut, 'cause I expect you home in one piece.
Yes, ma'am. I assure you I intend to be.
Good. I better sign off. Rosita's been with the kids for a couple hours while we sorted this thing out. I'll talk to you soon, okay? I love you.
And I love you. Taterbug over and out.
As Talisa headed back towards her own home, she noticed the lights on in the basement that held Negan's cell, and almost without thinking, she detoured. She walked inside and went to the door that would take her downstairs, but as she did, she froze. She could hear voices below. One was Negan's, and one was female. She was reasonably sure she recognized the woman's voice, and her curiosity warred against her better judgment as she stood there unsure of what her next move should be. In the end, curiosity won out, and she moved slowly and quietly down the steps until she could hear them more clearly.
You do this, they're never gonna forgive you.
As long as you don't mess it up, they never have to know. You're the lesser of two evils right now. And as long as you're sitting in the cell, people will be too scared of you to notice the real threat coming.
And you think me being out there is going to lessen their fear?
No, not at first. But with time, as they see you're really not coming back, you'll be moved to the back burner as far as threats are concerned.
Talisa couldn't believe what she was hearing. She realized she had been holding her breath as she listened, and she let it out slowly and quietly as she tried to rationalize what Carol could possibly be thinking.
So that's it then? I do this for you, and you just let me go.
You say it like it's as easy as taking out the trash.
Oh no, ma'am. I assure you I am fully aware of the astronomically high stakes involved in this proposition, and the truly screwed up things I'm probably going to have to do to get it done. I just want to be clear on the parameters.
You do what I'm asking, and you're free to go. Simple as that.
And you can live with that?
You'd be surprised what I can live with.
You know, I believe I probably would be.
There was a long pause, and then Negan spoke again.
How about you, Sassy Pants?
Talisa froze on the stairs. She looked down at the opening and heard Carol move towards it. She stepped into the room and found Carol there in front of her, looking surprised and wary.
How'd you know I was there?
Doc, you were my only consistent visitor for over 6 years. You don't think I memorized the sound of your footsteps on those stairs, no matter how quiet you try to be?
What did you hear?
Enough. Carol, what are you doing?
What needs to be done? Everyone is losing their minds over this bullshit that doesn't matter, when there is a real threat out there who is tightening the noose as we speak.
I don't disagree with you, but letting him go? Carol, it's a huge risk.
Everything we do is a risk nowadays. Hell, walking out your front door is a risk. If this risk keeps us safer in the long run, I say it's worth it.
Talisa looked at her long and hard and then sighed and crossed her arms.
Okay, so what's the plan then?
Carol stared at her blankly.
Seriously? You're actually on board with this?
I don't know what I am yet, but I know you're right about Alpha, and I know that he didn't do anything wrong tonight.
She nodded towards Negan.
I don't want to see him killed for doing the right thing for once.
Did you really have to tack for once on that?
She shot him a slightly amused glare.
So tell me what the deal is. What's he going to do for you to earn his freedom?
I'm gonna escape from here, join up with Alpha and her whisperers, and when the time is right...
The hint of Negan's old malicious smile flickered across his face.
I'm gonna kill the bitch and bring Carol her head.
Huh. That's actually pretty genius, because either way we win. Either you're successful, and we end this shit with Alpha for good, or she kills you, and then at least we don't have the complications you bring anymore.
Come on now. Don't get so sentimental on me, sassy pants. You're breaking my heart.
Talisa, I never meant for you to be involved in this. I never meant for anyone to, for that matter. But now that you are, you can't tell anyone. Not even Eugene. Not until it's finished. It has to look like he escaped on his own.
I understand.
Carol opened the bars of Negan's cage, and he picked up a small rucksack off the floor beside him as he walked out.
You betray us, I will find you, and when I do, the things you used to do will seem like a walk in the park compared to what I'll do to you.
Carol, I completely believe that.
Negan shot her one more amused smirk before turning back to Talisa.
Well, Doc, seems like one way or the other this is probably our big goodbye.
Does seem that way.
I feel like a moment this significant warrants some kind of gesture. Hell, you've been my only friend, adjacent type person for half a decade.
He shot her a teasing look.
Would a goodbye kiss be too much to ask for?
She rolled her eyes.
Yeah, just a little. But in light of the fact that you did save my life tonight, I think maybe I can manage a hug.
She stepped forwards and wrapped an arm around Negan's waist. He immediately reciprocated, putting his around her shoulders and leaning his cheek against the top of her head.
Take care of yourself, sassy pants. You're one hell of a woman.
You take care of yourself too.
He let her go and turned back to head up the stairs. As he stepped onto the first stair, he stopped suddenly as if remembering something and turned back to them.
You know, after all this time, Dr. Prince Porter, I realize you still never gave me an official diagnosis. Last chance. What's your professional opinion?
Talisa crossed her arms as if she were analyzing him and smirked.
I'd say definitely an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
At that, Negan grinned and shook his head.
You're goddamn right about that.
He turned to head up the stairs.
Eugene, you still up there?
Eugene walked away from the shelf of books he'd been perusing and looked over the railing at her.
Present and accounted for.
Well, could you come down here? We've got a situation we need to discuss.
She was standing in the foyer with Magna, Yumiko, Luke, and Judith, and Jeff, their fellow Alexandrian. As Eugene descended the stairs, he registered the worried looks on all their faces.
What seems to be the newest predicament?
Call just came through from Rachel at Oceanside. Seems like they've officially got a whisperer problem of their own. I'd like to head out right away. 2 wagons and some supplies.
Rachel's sure it was them?
Sure is a strong word. But she swears that one of those creepers was watching them, too damn close to where that mask washed up. Might be nothing, but in case it is one of them, you know as well as I do they move in a pack.
Where there's one, you can bet your last dollar there's 100 more, much like the Order of Bladadea.
Ah yes, the illustrious cockroach family.
Luke shot Eugene an appreciative smirk that he returned.
So you think they're planning another attack?
Walkers at Alexandria, the tree here, now Oceanside? First time coincidence. Second time might be bad luck. But the third time, we should check.
Michonne?
Luke raised his hand tentatively and all eyes turned to him.
If you, don't mind, I'd love to join you. I'm feeling the ocean calling to me.
Now it was Yumiko's turn to smirk.
And by the ocean, you mean Jules?
What? What are you talking about? I've never even heard of...
Uh-huh. Sure you haven't.
Magna said skeptically, grinning along with Yumiko.
Oh, right. The tall woman with the face and the... Shut up.
That's what I thought.
Count me in too.
Jeff said with a small wave.
In that case, Eugene, you'll need to lead the wagon back to Alexandria. You all right with that?
I am. But I do feel my presence is necessary here until the end of the week at minimum. The entire purpose of my inclusion in this venture was to employ my expertise in architecture and engineering to plug the metaphorical gap tooth in the metaphorical smile that is Hilltop's fortification. If I were to leave before that objective is achieved, it would render these long and lonely days of separation from my wife and children essentially fruitless.
All right. Just don't take too long. You're essential back in Alexandria as well, and I don't just mean to your family.
The sentiment is acknowledged and greatly appreciated, and I hope Miss Judith doesn't mind cooling her heels here a few extra days with me before we head home.
Judith? No, she's coming with me.
Michonne shot her daughter a smile as she looked up at her in surprise.
Really?
Well, yeah. Who else is going to be my sounding board?
Judith grinned and wrapped her arms around her. About a half an hour later, after Eugene had gone back upstairs and was now settled comfortably on the couch, reading a worn copy of Journey to the Center of the Earth, he heard someone coming up the stairs and looked up. Luke was standing at the top of the staircase and gave him a slightly nervous half wave.
Hey, Eugenius? Am I disturbing you?
In the most straightforward sense, considering I had my proverbial nose buried in this book, you are. But seeing as I've read it twice already, the disturbance is in no way an imposition. What can I do for you?
Luke walked over and sat down opposite him.
I was wondering if I could pick your altogether exceptional brain for a minute.
I'd be happy to impart my knowledge if you're so inclined. What's the specific topic you're looking to query today? Construction, engineering, agriculture?
Women?
Luke looked up at him now, smiling shyly.
Oh. Well, I can confidently say that particular topic is one that my advice has been sought out upon exactly never in my lifetime.
I'm guessing that's because you've never really been much of a ladies' man, right?
That would be wholly and entirely correct. In fact, before the initiation of my relationship with Talisa, my experience of anything in the realm of romantic entanglement sat at absolute zero.
By absolute zero, do you mean absolute? Absolute?
I do indeed. Not so much as a handhold before she came into my life. She was my first, and I surely do hope, my only.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. And also really damn romantic in a way.
I've always perceived it as such.
Luke leaned forward with his elbows on his knees.
Okay, so that's kind of a perfect segue into what I wanted to ask you, actually. So you were this shy, awkward genius dude with quite literally zero game. Yet somehow you landed yourself a smoking hot wife, meaning no offense.
None taken. Am fully aware of the bombshell status of my spouse and the fact that I hit the proverbial jackpot the day she decided to pursue me, though at the time I had no idea how to even begin to process said pursuit.
Yes, exactly.
Luke excitedly patted his hands against his knees.
I figured she was probably the one to initiate things, and that's my question. How the hell did you figure out what to do next?
I'm guessing your line of questioning is in reference to the woman from Oceanside your compatriots were needling you about earlier?
Luke sat back and sighed.
Her name's Jules. And Eugene? She's just about the prettiest girl I've ever seen in my life. When we all went out there a few weeks ago, she and I got along great. We were hanging out and joking. Then all of a sudden she started hitting me with these flirty comments, or at least what I thought are flirty comments, but I didn't want to read into it, you know? Because she's so out of my league. Then, it's like she could read my mind and she just looks right at me and says, "Yes, Luke, I'm flirting with you." What the hell am I supposed to do with that?
Well, what did you do?
I think I said something stupid like, "Cool." And then we went back to untangling nets and never talked about it again. Now we're in this weird limbo and I don't know what to do.
Eugene chuckled and shook his head.
Limbo. I remember it well. Talisa and I had several phases of it, in fact, in the process of defining our relationship.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Well, firstly, when we were at the point of acknowledging that we had quickly become the best of friends after meeting, I felt compelled to make sure she knew I was aware that her feelings for me were entirely platonic, and the idea of a romantic relationship between us was entirely ludicrous. And she in turn expressed to me that the idea in and of itself was not.
Dang, that must have been quite the brain bender.
To put it mildly. Then there was also the time that I inadvertently walked in on a potential coup meeting and almost got myself executed in the process. Talisa came charging to my rescue and very nearly got herself shot. I was understandably angry and told her I did not appreciate her risking her life for mine. She made it equally as clear that she would do it again in a heartbeat, just as she would for anyone she cared for. We shared a moment that I was not cognizant of at the time due to my negligible experience in such matters, but now, with benefit of hindsight, I can see was very nearly our first kiss.
Wow, you guys have quite the story, don't you?
Oh, I assure you that is just the veritable tip of the iceberg.
So, how'd you do it? How'd you figure out what to say and what to do to not look like an absolute idiot every time she got close to you or smiled at you? Because I gotta say, part of me is super excited to get to see Jules again. The other part knows I'm gonna end up saying the wrong thing, or tripping over my feet because I'm so nervous and falling flat on my face. I'm existing in a state of almost uncontainable excitement and complete and total panic simultaneously.
Eugene chuckled.
I'm sorry to say that is in fact par for the course when falling for beautiful women. And as far as my strategies for my actions in regards to Talisa's pursuit of me, I'm afraid you'd find them entirely unhelpful, seeing as they were non-existent. I was just as bumbling and unsure of myself as your description. My only saving grace was that my partner found said shortcomings to be entirely adorable.
So, your advice is, just be myself? Neurosis and all. And if she really likes me, she'll think it's cute?
I don't know if I'd entirely classify it as advice, but that was my experience. Yes.
Well, I guess it's at least a strategy that's pretty easy to execute. Thanks, Eugenius.
He turned towards the stairs, but then looked back at him.
Hey, I never asked, but does that bother you? When I call you Eugenius, that is?
On the whole, I'm not particularly partial to nicknames, but seeing as yours is more of a clever play on my given moniker, and it's also both complimentary and accurate, I'd have to say it's one of the more tolerable.
Luke chuckled and shook his head.
You're something else. You know that?
You're not the first to express that sentiment, and I'm fairly certain you won't be the last. But I thank you anyway. Have a safe journey to Oceanside, and good luck in your endeavor with your lady friend.
Thanks.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Daryl walked up to where Talisa was sitting on her back porch watching RJ, Teddy, and Lincoln play in the backyard.
Sure, what's up now?
The news that Negan was gone had spread like wildfire as soon as the sun came up. There had been search parties formed and people were already out looking, but Talisa was sure they wouldn't find anything. Negan wouldn't have left any kind of trail to follow.
It's Lydia. She put herself in Negan's cell and she won't come out.
What? Why would she do that?
She says it's where people want her. And since they blame her for him getting out anyway, says it's where she feels safest.
Oh, that poor girl.
Yeah. You think you could go talk with her?
Of course. Could you watch the boys for me while I do?
No problem.
Daryl gave a quick, loud whistle and all three boys looked up.
Yo, little dudes. You're gonna come hang out with me for a while, okay?
All three of them cheered as they ran off with him. Talisa tucked her daughter more securely into her sling and stood. Walking off the porch and through her side yard to get back to the street before heading back down the road towards the townhomes. She went into the one that held the cell. She went down the stairs and found Lydia sitting cross-legged on the bed, staring up at the shaft of light coming through the window.
You don't have to say it. I already went through it all with Daryl. People think I'm the bad guy, and this is where they want me. This is where I'm safest, and I'm tired of being afraid. I've been afraid for as long as I can remember.
Daryl and I can keep you safe. We want to. You shouldn't have to be in here. You shouldn't have to put yourself in the box they made for you.
You know, back in the kingdom, when I chose you all over my mother,
Lydia looked over at her now.
my mother told me one day I was going to realize that you all wear masks too, but yours are the kind that are made out of politeness and manners. When things get bad, when you get scared, you pick a target, aim, and shoot. Me, Negan, anything but you. And you know what? She was right.
Talisa opened the door of the cell and walked over to sit next to Lydia on the bed. The girl didn't look at her or acknowledge the move, but she also didn't shy away.
You think that's how I am?
Lydia was quiet for a long moment before she spoke.
No, you're different. Daryl's different too. Both of you believe in me, I know that. And I know you believe in Negan too. You're the only one here besides me that sees him for what he really is.
And what's that?
He stood up for me when he didn't have to. He risked his life to save me, even though he knew it would screw him out of his chance at a normal life here. That doesn't sound like a bad guy to me.
No, it doesn't. But Lydia, that's only a small part of the picture. There's a whole other dark side of him that you've never seen. The things he did, we can't just forgive and forget that easily.
Like murdering innocent people, taking what's theirs, controlling others through fear, not caring who he hurt. How come I get a free pass as far as all those things are concerned, but he doesn't? Is it 'cause I'm younger and somehow you can convince yourself that makes me less to blame? Or is it because you didn't have to see the things I did firsthand, so they're easier to ignore?
Talisa looked over at her sadly and sighed.
You know, you might be one of the most thoughtful, intelligent, and well-spoken teens I've ever met.
Lydia gave a small huff as she looked away again.
Look, you're right. I don't know. Maybe we should have given Negan more of a chance. For what it's worth, I was against what everyone was trying to do to him. I know what he did was right, and I hope you can see that. Either way, it's neither here nor there as far as he's concerned anymore. He's gone. What I'm worried about is you, and you don't deserve to be in this cell.
Deserve doesn't have much to do with it anymore. I tried to fit in, be like all of you. It didn't work. I'm better in here. It's where I want to be.
Talisa sighed again.
Okay, but I want you to know, as soon as you feel differently, we're here to help. Both Daryl and I would be happy to take you to our places and keep you safe there too. You don't have to fit in with everyone to belong. Hell, look at Daryl. He's definitely not the fitting in type, but this is still his home. We're going to help you get it figured out.
Thanks, Talisa.
Lydia looked over absent-mindedly at the baby still tucked against Talisa's chest. She reached out and brushed Cece's hair gently.
You know, it sure would have been nice if I could have had a mom like you.
Well, now you've got a friend, like me.
Talisa gave her shoulder a nudge and Lydia smiled back slightly. Talisa walked out of the basement to find Sadiq walking down the sidewalk in front of her. When he saw her, he pulled up short and turned.
Just the person I was looking for.
Oh yeah, what'd I do this time?
He gave her a tired smile.
We just got word from Hilltop. Michonne and most of the others are on their way to Oceanside. They thought they saw a whisperer out there, and they wanted to be safe, so the others are gonna go lend backup to the search.
Eugene's going too?
Now, he's staying at Hilltop. Michonne said he's still overseeing the tree removal and rebuild process, and he's already initiated a zero waste protocol as far as the tree is concerned, and has teams in place to handle each of the projects.
Yep, that's my husband, all right.
Sadiq smirked.
I just wanted to let you know that Daryl and I are planning on heading over there ASAP. With Michonne gone, Daryl wanted to be there in case anything else goes down, and there are several people injured, so I figured I'd go and help out where I can too.
And you're sure you're up to it?
Honestly, I think a change of scenery might do me some good right now. I think I've just been way too in my head and stressed. Helping out at Hilltop might be just the thing to clear out the fog.
Okay then, I'll go get the boys from Daryl so you can head out. Just be careful on the road, okay? And give my husband a kiss from me when you see him.
One of those things I will do, and one I will absolutely not.
All right, if you don't want to take precautions when you travel, it's your funeral.
Sadiq laughed and gave her a playful shove in the shoulder. When I Fall is a work of fiction based on AMC's The Walking Dead. Any characters not created by the author are the property of said company. The story will continue in the next chapter.